a lot of registration, so we are expecting more people to join eventually. But it's 7, so we will begin anyway. Thank you so much for joining this session on storytelling, the art of storytelling. Imagine all of us joined Toastmasters thinking we will become great public speakers. And then we realized that storytelling is such an important part of becoming good public speakers or even communicating. Every time you communicate with someone, the moment you start sharing stories, you start engaging people. So we thought it is important that the members of District 60 have an opportunity to learn storytelling, just storytelling, because you could use it for so many things. You could use it to connect with your audience. You could use it to get that hike from your boss. You could also use it to put a baby to sleep. So, with that, we thought who would be the best person to share tips on storytelling with members of District 60 who are already so wonderful? And then we thought, what if the winner of International Speech Contest, District 60, 2024, 25, 25, 26, yes,
25, 26.
26, shares his tips of storytelling with this group because he definitely shared a wonderful story which helped him win at District 60 championship. So please put your hands together for Clement Doyer, who is the International Speech Contest winner, District 60 for the year 25-26. So he's the current reigning champion of District 60. And he is here to share his tips. And this is the contest season. So the best time for him to share these tips. And some of you might be interested in competing this year. And who knows? Maybe the next world champion of public speaking is on this call today. So, with that, I pass this to you, Clem. Please take it over and share your secrets with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Yukta. This is going to be an awesome, awesome workshop. Awesome, awesome time for us to be together. Couple of things that we're going to have in the workshop, just to let everyone know that just put everything on mute. Just a couple of housekeeping. Just make sure you're unmuted unless you're going to answer a question. That's something we want to make sure we apply to everybody. 2, get your pens and papers and any type of a writing device together because you're going to take lots of notes and it's going to help you along, not just storytelling, but for any other future event that you want to do. 3, if you have questions, by all means, write down your questions and don't be afraid to, there's going to be different sections where I'll pause, ask us any questions, and go for and answer it. If I don't get to your question, write it down, save it for the end, and hopefully I'll do it. If I do a great enough job, we'll have some time at the end to answer as many questions as possible. And obviously, number one thing is be open. Be open to getting new information. Be open to being involved and learning what the art of storytelling is and how it can be powerful in your life. So this is the power of storytelling. Telling the story people we're meant to hear. And I believe without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to walk away with so many tips and tools that's going to help you to become a better communicator. A little bit about me. 2025 District 60 International Speech Champion. Again, keynote speaker and facilitator. Do a lot of workshops on the art of speaking and communicating. I've done 20 years of speaking experience and 30 years in the audiovisual industry. And actually being in the audiovisual industry has helped me doing presentations because I've actually watched firsthand those who've been successful and those who haven't done a great job in presenting. So everything I'm going to teach you is everything that I've learned from the roots and the ground up. Now, just so that Yukta can say, if you see any questions, Yukta, and I asked it, please, by all means, I don't see the chat right now, but we'll do our best to answer all your questions. See this young man right here? This young man right here hated speaking, hated it with a passion, swore he would never speak in public ever because he battled with a speech impediment known as stuttering. And I don't know if you know what stuttering is, but stuttering really is the debilitating problem that most people suffer. And what I like to say is, in your mind, it's like the 407. You drive 120, 140, 160 down the highway. Not that I've ever done it, but the words are in your mind and they're flowing like water. but then you hit the DVP, the Don Valley parking lot. And that's when the words couldn't get out of my mouth. It was just traffic jam. And because of that, I didn't believe that my words were valuable. I didn't believe that anything I said, that anyone would actually care. So I stayed quiet, just regressed in the corner. For 2 years, I went through therapy, learning to speak again, learning to communicate, learning the arts, the tips, the tools, and techniques that, funny enough, led to my youth and to my adulthood, where I realized my voice matters, my story matters. But I need to figure out, how do I cultivate that skill? How do I get that story out? So I joined Toastmasters, and Toastmasters helped me to formulate my thoughts, my ideas, so that this kid right here, who did not like speaking, who had a speech impediment, became a speech champion. This man right here now loves to speak because of the tools that he learned. And my goal in this workshop is to do something simple, to provide tips, tools, and techniques that's going to help you to be a better communicator in your personal and professional life. That's what this workshop is all about. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Clem, what does stories have to do with anything? Well, we're going to touch upon that because, believe it or not, the stories I'm talking about isn't your, well, once upon a time in a castle far, far away. No, we're not talking about fairy tales. We're talking about life experiences, things, challenges that you have gone through and have overcome. That I believe that if you understood the tools, if you understood the techniques, you would be able to find the confidence to tell that story that's going to help someone out of the situation that they're in right now. Quick agenda is we're going to talk about, guess what? What is storytelling? We're going to dive into why storytelling matters. We're going to talk about keys to storytelling with the blueprint, and then we're going to wrap it up over the time with some Q&A. So if we're good with that, put your hand up, throw emojis, let me know that you're hearing me. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's do this. Storytelling. It's the art, according to Google, this is the art of conveying narratives through various means, words, visuals, actions, and it's used to engage and inform and entertain an audience. The beautiful thing about storytelling, people, is that, guess what? There are no boundaries. The only limit is your imagination. That's what will stop you from telling your story. It's your imagination. Anything you say, anything you do, whether you're dancing, whether you're singing, whether you're playing a musical instrument, or whether you're speaking, you're telling a story in one way, shape, or another. And many of the times, we just don't know how to bring that story to life. We have this fire that's in our heart and in our mind, but we just don't know, how do I get it out? And that's what we're going to talk about. This is what storytelling is. And once you get the framework, nothing's impossible. So we're going to talk about, what is the purpose of storytelling? So this is where I'm going to ask you 3 questions. When you think about storytelling, what do you think it is? Do you think it's to entertain people? Do you think that maybe it's to empower people? Or maybe it's to educate people? Now, this is where we get interactive. This is where I need you to take out your phones, scan the QR code. And we're going to give about 30 seconds for everyone to get the opportunity to pull out your phone. But you're going to scan this QR code, pick one of the questions. The question is there, what's your answer? Do you believe that the purpose of storytelling is to entertain a group of people? Do you think it's maybe to empower a group of people? Or do you think maybe it's to educate some people? So those who are coming online, get your phone out. This is a quick little poll, a little interactive we're going to do, and you're going to scan this code for the next 15 seconds or so. I'm going to get as many people this opportunity to scan the code to answer. Pick one. What's the purpose of storytelling? What do you think the purpose of storytelling actually is? We're going to find our answer out here. Wow. So we have across the board, entertain, to empower, to educate, and give some people enough time. Anybody else who might think that, hey, what else do you think it is? Most people across the board, that's what they believe that storytelling actually is. This is what I believe storytelling is. And it's going to be very interesting when you find out my answer because most people are saying, so what do you think, Clem? It's all the above. There is no right and there is no wrong answer. And that's the beautiful thing about storytelling is you're going to take that answer and you're going to, yeah, depending on the occasion, it can be very combination of all three. That's 100% true. To entertain, well, your answer is not listed. I say that's all. That's perfect. So all the above, when you are speaking, when you are telling a story, your objective is to make sure that you get your message out there and communicate it the best way possible. And we're going to pick out different ways of that happening. Four reasons. This is where your pen and paper come into order. Four reasons why storytelling matters. And the reason why you're going to find this out is I don't want to tell you what it is. I want you to ask yourself, why do I want to do this? Why do I actually want to tell a story? Why do I want to tell my story? Because when you know the why of anything, then you know the purpose of what you're doing. And once you know the purpose of something, then it inspires you to drives you to go further. So here are four reasons why storytelling matters. It connects us. See, stories help us to understand each other, sharing experiences and emotions. Many of you might have kids and your child comes running home and they're excited and they tell you what their day is and they're like, Mom, Dad, this is what happened. And they list down 20 things that happened that day. You weren't in school with them. You weren't at the playground when they experienced it. But that child's telling you a story. And if you're a great listener, you automatically are transported into that child's story and you almost feel like you were there when that kid experienced it. When they made the basketball team and they jumped for joy and the crowd went crazy, you weren't there, but they're telling you a story and it brings out this emotion and you get to share in their experience. That's why you want to connect. Second thing, preserves culture. Stories are vital ways of passing down traditions and values and even history from one generation to the next. I think about my grandma when she was alive, and she would cook her meal, and she would cook this awesome soup. My mom also cooks the same soup. My sister cooks that soup. And that's a passing out of a generation of the same soup. There are stories that my mom can tell my sister about how she spent time with my grandmother. Maybe that applies to you. Maybe you're a first generation Canadian and your parents get to tell you what it was like in the old country, as we say, and you get to hear culture. You get to bring that with you. And although you weren't where your grandparents were, it not only does it connect you, but you can keep the tradition going. That's why stories are powerful. It's the culture that we live in. It's too easy for it to die and be diluted, but you can keep history going forever. Second part is this is what I ride on is inspires action. My goal is when I tell my story and any story is to inspire my audience. It's to inspire you to to go through processes and to continue to move on. I want to inspire you to move from the back row thinking that you're not important and step up front. That's what I want you to do. That's my mission is to inspire you to take action and accept new ideas. And the fourth part is it builds community. Sharing stories, belongings, it brings a sense of belonging and shared identity. And you get that a lot if I ask you to raise your hand. How many people like baking, there'd be a group of people who like baking. And if I say how many people like ice skating, there'd be a group of people who are ice skating. And those group of people, when they get together, have shared ideas, have shared experiences, and they build a community based upon we like ice skating or we like this particular subject. So storytelling allows you to connect with people. It allows you to preserve culture, inspires, and it builds community. So these are your 4 reasons for why storytelling matters. To take a quick break, are there any questions? If there are, put your hand up, speak. I can't see anybody, but I'm pretty sure you're there. If you've got any questions, speak up. Let me know if there's anything, any questions or insights at this point.
Please feel free to unmute yourselves or
Yeah.
put anything in chat and we can take it from there.
Yeah, number two resonates with me.
Hmm.
I'm a third generation um, British British person.
Yeah.
My grandparents arrived in England after the Second World War. My parents arrived around the 60s,
Hmm.
and then they passed those stories on to me
Yeah.
in short. So now I have those stories actually to pass on to my children who are, although they were born in the UK, they were very young when they came to Canada. So
Yeah.
they don't have any of that British or Jamaican background, which I now pass on to them through the stories that my grandparents and my parents gave me.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Derek. Anybody else have a aha or insight moment in this? Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing there, Derek. Appreciate it. 3 keys of powerful storytelling. These are your 3 keys. I want you to write this down, take as many notes, because this is going to be powerful for many of you. Be memorable. If you are going to tell a story, it has to be memorable. Because I believe that if people can't remember what you said, how are they going to apply the lesson? I mean, does that make sense to everybody? If I don't remember what you just said, then I'm going to walk away with what? I haven't gained anything from your expertise. I haven't gained anything from your insight. So I've walked away with nothing. If I can get you to remember what I said, I have a fighting chance that you'll probably apply what I just said. So the first thing is your story, make it memorable. And I like to say, pretend you're writing a story to a 5-year-old. Stay away from convoluted words. You don't need 6-syllable words to impress people. Nobody cares. Keep your words simple, keep your words descriptive, allow people to imagine, let those words simmer in people's minds when they hear it. You want them to consistently go, oh, I like what you just said, and I'm going to retain that for the next part of my life. Part number 2 is relatable. Why would people apply the lesson if they can't relate to your message? I want you to think that whatever story you're telling, whatever lesson you want someone to learn, is it memorable? But at the same time, is it relatable? Is it something that they're going to say, yeah, that makes sense. That can apply to my life. Or yeah, I've been there, done that. But now I hear how you've also been there and I hear how you've gotten out of it. Your story makes sense. Your story resonates with me. So you want it to be memorable, you want it to be relatable, and you want to be personal. Now, most people don't like this part because they're like, well, Clem, it's my business, it's nobody's business. I don't want to talk about myself. I hear you. But the powerful stories are the ones where you become vulnerable because it builds trust. When I told my story about stuttering in a group of people, all their faces just dropped. They're like, Clem, where are you getting stuttering from? I've never heard you stutter before. And as we began to speak, they began to talk to me about their struggles. Mind you, I never asked. I never asked what struggles you're going through. I never asked what challenges you're going through. But because I opened up, it provided an opportunity for them to also open up and to walk away knowing Clem went through challenges and he knows he's able to get out of his challenge. I'm in a struggle right now. I think I can get out of it. Clem, how did you do it? The goal of every storyteller is to always inspire people to get out, to make, like I said, to get out and make decisions and for change of actions. Are you being personal? It's going to take a lot. Granted, it takes a lot. But by doing that, you're building a groundwork of trust. So remember your three keys. You want to be memorable, you want to be relatable, and yeah, profitable, be personal. Now we got some recap. I want to see how many people actually remember what I had to say. This is where you have to put your hand up and see who comes up first. Does anybody remember what my speech impediment was? See, one hand up. All right. Let's see. Who was that person? Let's see your name
Nicholas.
here. Nicholas. All right. What was my speech impediment, Nicholas?
Stuttering.
Stuttering. Awesome. All right. Next one. How many years did I spend in speech therapy? Somebody else. How many years did I spend in speech therapy? Yes. See someone else's hand up? Go for it. So who's this?
Did you want me, Clem?
Yeah, go for you.
I say
Yeah.
2.
So 2 years. So Mr. Bruce, you say 2 years? And let us see what the survey say. Yeah, 2 years. Next part. What organization did I join to help improve my communication? Which organization? Yep, go for it, Carla.
Toastmasters. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Toastmasters. All right. And my fourth one. Which Toastmaster award did I win in 2025? This is going to be very interesting if who actually can get this one. I don't see a hand up yet. Anybody? Any takers?
Yeah, I can handle that one, Clem. I was in the audience.
Oh, I see Laverne. Laverne, I haven't heard from you. Go for it, Laverne.
You want me to-
I did respond to the answer before this one, so if someone
yeah?
else has it, I'll let them go.
Go for it.
Looks like Sabrina did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Okay,
won
go for it, Bruce. Go for it, Bruce.
best. World Championship Public Speaking at the district level.
All right. District 6 International Speech Competition.
Yep.
Here's the point of everything there. Those 4 questions you were able to answer because it reflects back to memory and it reflects back to personal. When I talked about my stuttering, it was personal. For those who were actually at the competition that you heard, it was memorable because I was at 2 events and someone remembered the speech that I won, that I used, that I spoke 9 months ago. That tells me that if you follow the process, people will remember your story. And that's what you want people to walk away with. Now here comes the fun part, the blueprint. We're going to put everything together. I'm going to tell you the secret sauce that you can put together. It's going to help you to communicate, whether you're going to speak on stage, a competition, or in front of your boss, or in front of a client. Doesn't matter. Once you have the blueprint, it works in any and all situation. All right. First thing I do is, what do I want my audience to learn, to do, or consider? This is what we call to action. And this is what you do at the end of your message. This is what most people, this is the selling point. At the end of it, this is what you want people to buy. But the first thing you want to do is ask yourself, what do I want my audience to learn, to do, or consider? Because if you don't know what they want to do, then they're not going to know what you want them to do. I know it's a tongue twister, but I want to know if that makes sense to you. If you don't know what your audience is to receive, they're not going to know because they're there to hear you. They're there to receive something. The question is, what are you giving them? Once you give it to them, then they'll know, that's what I need. That's exactly what's going to help me. That's going to help me get that job. That's going to help me get that promotion. This is going to help me out of my situation. This is going to help me out of my challenges. But what do you want them to learn? How do you want them to change their trajectory in their life? So what do I want my audience to learn, to do, or consider? I love this quote by Simon Sinek, is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Ladies and gentlemen, people don't care about your product. People do not care about your product. They care about why you believe they should have that product. You're not going to care about this workshop, but you will care why. I care why you should have this. When you leave, you'll know why this will be beneficial to your life. That was what's going to propel people to become better. That's what's going to help you to become a better storyteller. And it's going to help you along your lifeline, is to ask yourself, what do I want people to learn? And understand this. They don't care about your product. They care why they should go out and get it. Next thing is, who's my audience? And this list can go on for days. But I picked a few out of my head. And the age. Maybe your age is a factor. Are you speaking to 5-year-olds or 50-year-olds? Who's the audience that you're trying to reach? What are their struggles? Is it finances? Is it their health? Is it the relationship? Is it like, what are they struggling with? If you know what it is that they're trying to overcome, then you know how to curate it. My goal is to help people to move from insecurity to being secure in themselves, to tell the story. So I know the audience I'm trying to reach. That's what I know what they're struggling with. Maybe it's their ethnicity. Maybe they're from a different country and there's different cultural shock they're trying to deal with, that they're here in Canada. Maybe you're from the same country they are. That's how you can relate. That's how you're being vulnerable, because you know what it's like to be a Canadian in a new country from a different world. And now they're trying to go through the struggle. Maybe you can help them through that. And maybe it's their social status. Maybe they're struggling, they're unemployed. Maybe they're trying to get out of their job. Maybe they're in a different situation. Who are you trying to reach with the story that's going to change their life? You will always find me whenever I speak. My goal is to always help people change their life, to let them know that there is a better way. Here's one of the fun part. This is where it can get very tricky. I'm going to be honest with you. When I said I was in AV for 30 plus years, I have seen people rise and fall based on not understanding the tool that they're using and not using it effectively. Visual, using PowerPoint, video, or flip chart. This can be convoluted. I don't recommend using all of them at the same time unless you've used all of them, unless you understand how it works. But there's a tool that you can use to help tell your story through pictures and images. Audio. Some people are visual learners. Some people are great by auditory. And that might be playing song. That might be even the microphone that you're using. And you're saying, Clem, why does my microphone even matter? I'll tell you why. Because remember what happened in COVID? Yeah. Remember when everybody moved from in-person meetings to virtual meetings, and people couldn't figure out why they can't hear people. They forgot to mute and unmute their cameras. I don't know who's still trying to mute and unmute their laptop. If you're still doing it, come talk to me afterwards so I can take your computer away from you. But this is what you do is, how do you mute and unmute? How do you turn your camera on? They sound simple, but they can affect your message. And people today are still struggling. Now we move into hybrid. So now how do you take all three of these tools, work with people in person, then on a computer, and then how do you integrate in person and online? But these are tools that we are now using to convey a message. And this is where I say be very cautious. Be aware of your environment, because not every tool that you use is going to work in that environment. Don't allow your visual aids to be the main attraction. And what I mean by that is, don't hide behind your PowerPoint. Use it there. It's just a tool. It's there as a guideline to help you communicate your message. But I have been in meetings where someone will have a PowerPoint and they will read verbatim every single thing that's on it. There's 50 lines of text, and they're reading everything. And I say to myself, if that's the case, why don't you just send me your PowerPoint deck? Why is that important? Because, ladies and gentlemen, people came to see you. People came to hear you. They didn't come to see your PowerPoint presentation. They came because you have information that's going to be beneficial to them. So don't be the distraction, be the attraction. Don't let your tools overtake your message. You're the reason why people are there. Your story matters. People should not walk away saying, oh, I love the way that the PowerPoint was laid out and the graphics were in high definition and the music was, no, 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 no. They should be able to talk about what was the message that you presented to them. And last but not least, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please practice using the tools. If you've never used PowerPoint before and you have a presentation tomorrow, it doesn't make sense to use it. It doesn't make sense to use it because techs like me have to sit there and look at your PowerPoint and ask myself, why on earth would you have done this? Why are your transitions looking like this? Because you've never used the tool. I didn't say you should never use it. I'm saying practice before you use it. And if all else fails, get somebody else to help you out because we want you to be successful in everything that you do. Okay, does anybody have any input, questions, comments before we go into the next section?
Yeah,
You can unmute.
how do you
Yes.
make that how do you go about making that determination as to which visual tool you're going to use? How
Yeah.
through your time and experience, how have you come to that kind of decision as to what you're going to use?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. The disadvantages is I've been in the AV business for so many years that I can walk into a room and tell you what'll work and what won't work.
Right.
But what you need to look at is think about this. If you're an audience and the room holds 100 people, would PowerPoint or a flip chart work? Now, here's the thing. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to be an interactive group? Are you trying to just do a lecture? You need to look at the environment you're in because you could be in a room that holds 500 people and you're writing at like font 5 on a piece of paper and someone is like 80 feet away, they're never going to see it. So think about the room that you're in. If you were to walk in that room, could you see everything? Would a microphone work in a room with that holds 20 people? You wouldn't need it. But what if you had 200 people? You think people could hear? And a lot of it has to do is use the people who are at your disposal. Talk to the AV tech who's in there. Talk to the person who is the managing director, the person who's the event coordinator. They need to be able to present that to you. They need to say, you know something, Derek, you're going to present in this room, and we have a nice TV here because a projector doesn't work in this because it doesn't have the bulb is blown or the light is too bright. That's the responsibility of someone who's organizing. For you, if you don't know, ask. Ask for advice. Ask someone who's been in that space and say, hey, you've been here. What works out for you? So that's something that might be able to help you out. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, somebody else. Sorry if I can't say your name. Just shout it out. I know a hand went up, so go for it.
That's me, Laverne.
Hey, Laverne, how you doing?
Good. I guess it's me. I don't know. I don't see any other hands raised.
All right.
So I think this is more of I guess it's a question, but I would like to know your thoughts on it.
Sure.
A lot of folks in my club love to use Cameo. And honestly, it makes me crazy because looking in that little picture on top of your PowerPoint, it's
Mhm,
too much for me. And so
mhm.
what are your thoughts on Cameo? It's not like I'm going to go back and say, Clem said don't use that. But I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts on it? It
Well, to be
stresses
honest,
me out.
yeah, is it Cameo or Canva?
It's like picture in a picture. So there's a circle of
Oh,
their
yeah,
picture,
I know
and
what
then
you're talking.
behind them is the thing, the
Yeah, yeah,
PowerPoint.
yeah. It's a different version. It used to be with a pixel, but I know what you're talking about. You have to be careful about being too glamorous. And what we like to do is,
Yes.
you've heard the KISS, keep it simple, and then we'll keep it, we'll keep it
Yes.
simple, silly. Like, it's really just keep things basic. And it's bothersome because it's too much. And what
Mm-hmm.
people need to know is your information can't be too much. It has to be easy to digest, easy for people to follow. Like, if you look at my text, like, there isn't any crazy transitions, there's no looping, there's nothing flashing. It's simple because I don't want that to take away from the message that I'm presenting.
Yes.
So when
Yeah.
you talk to your group, try to put a side by side. Say, hey, I know we're using Cameo. Let's take that presentation and see what it looks like with PowerPoint. Let's just see how it flows and see how simple it looks. And that's what you
Thank
kind of
you.
have to do. Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
no problem. Anybody else have any inputs, questions? Going once, going twice. Okay. Here's something also important. How much do you know about your topic? And why does this matter? 3 points. Speak about what you know. Am I interested in this topic? And am I passionate about it? You will never, ever, 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 ever hear me talk about the 2026 economical state of Canada. That you're never going to hear about that. Not in your lifetime. I can make about and I'll lie about it, but you're never going to hear me talk about it because it doesn't interest me. I'm not passionate about it, and I don't know a single thing about it except for the fact I'm poor and paying too much taxes. That's pretty much all I know. When you know something, you're passionate about it. It drives you. I had a friend of mine, I was out having coffee with her, and she says, every time you talk about speaking, your eyes dance. I was like, my what dance? She goes, your eyes dance. You light up, and you're passionate about continuously speaking about it. That's the fire that burns inside of me. That's why I stay up late at night, and that's why I love doing these workshops, because I'm passionate about seeing people understand that your message matters. You didn't go through problems just so you could sit there and deal with it. You went through problems so you could overcome it and help someone else. Celebrate those victories. But if you keep it locked up inside, you're missing the blessing, and someone else is missing the blessing that you've been through. And I'm passionate about that. That this whole shy, I'm anxious, I don't know, let's put that aside. There are tools out there. There are techniques out there. Once you get it, you can't be stopped. People who are missing out on getting raises, becoming managers and directors, and they're leaving money on the table because they refuse to speak their mind in a conference. They refuse to communicate with the CEO at a cocktail meeting. You have that opportunity. And I'm passionate about seeing people overcome it so they can get what's on their table. Don't let me start now. So we're going to put it all together and we're just going to make it happen. So we're going to do this quick little assessment here. Tips on maintaining your vehicle. This is what my topic is. All right. So we'll put everything we've just learned into a nice bow. I know who my audience is. It's a student driver. Simple, first-time drivers. The next part, what tools am I going to use? This is my thought process. I choose PowerPoint. I can use anything else, but PowerPoint for first-time drivers, how to maintain their car. My next part is, what do I want them to learn? How to put oil in your car, how to check for your fluids. So you can see how my process is flowing down. And by doing this is how my slides will also progress as well. How will I make it creative? How will I make it memorable, relatable, and how will I make it personal? So I'll tell a story about I changed oil in my car and forgot. I was, 17, 18, and forgot to put oil back in the car. Drove it around and heard a clinking noise. And luckily, I was driving by my mechanics, pulled in, and he looked at me and said, Clem, there's no oil in your car. I went, what? He goes, Clem, you've been driving with no oil in your car. That's a personal story that I can laugh at now, but I wasn't laughing when he railed me out because I did something silly. So understand that part is, how do you tell your story that's going to help other people to not make that same mistake? Am I entertaining? Am I empowering? Or am I educating you? In this part, I want to educate the people. I want them to educate on how you can save thousands of dollars on your engine dropping out of your car, but maybe spending a few hours knowing just how to change your fluid, check to make sure you have the oil, wash your fluid. In closing, you have a story that people are waiting to hear. And every obstacle that you have to overcome is an obstacle that someone else is facing. And I want you to hear this. In 1992, 1996, there was the Summer Olympics in Barcelona. And there was an athlete by the name of Derek Redmond, and he was running from the UK. And in this particular race, he was running the 400. And he was a world champion. Everybody knew him. He was the man to beat. Everybody was like, this is the guy we gotta beat. He got into the starting blocks. He heard his runners, take your mark. Set, bang, gun goes off. All 8 runners go flying down the track at 100 miles an hour. Arms are pumping, feet are pumping, their heart is pumping, and they're pushing with everything they've got. Derek Redmond is rounding the corner, and he sees the one man ahead of him. He says, if I can catch up to that man, if I can pass that man, I can win this one. And all of a sudden, bang, like that, he pulls up, grabs the back of his leg in excruciating pain. And if anyone who's ever run track or sports, you know what that means. You pulled your hamstring. And he's in excruciating pain. In that moment, he had 2 choices. One, just fall down to the ground. Paramedics will pull you off. They'll pick you up, carry you off. No shame. You're in a lot of pain. People understand. But he picked option number 2. It was the option that nobody saw coming. He collected himself, dried his eyes, and began to limp down the track. As fast as he could in all the pain that he was going, he continued to run the race. Unbeknownst to him, in the crowd, an older gentleman comes running down the stairs, hops over the barricade, pushes the security away, gets onto the track, and grabs Derek Redmond's arm and puts it over his shoulder. And together they begin to limp down the track. The man was Derek Redmond's father. Derek Redmond's father understood the Olympics comes every 4 years. He understood the hard work that his son put in for 4 years. The sleepless nights, the training for 4 years. And in a second like that, it was taken away from him. See, Derek Redmond, not only was he crying in pain physically, but emotionally, he said, I'm done. But I refuse to go out like this. I refuse to die here on this track. I intend to finish what I started. And as they begin to limp down the track, they cross the finish line, not first, no world record, but 65,000 people in the stadium, standing ovation, clapping, cheering them on. Why? Because they did something that most people refuse to do. Get up when you fall down. Why do I tell this story? Because it inspires me. Anytime I try something and I fall, I say, maybe this isn't meant for me. I think of that story. I think of each and every one of you who are on this line. What does storytelling do? It can inspire someone. It can inspire you, because whatever pain and suffering you went through is not for naught. There's a purpose and there's a plan for good and not evil, for hope and a future. And what I believe is when I tell that story and I sit on this line and I say at 7 o'clock, it's 7:45, people on this line have a story that's going to inspire someone. And I'm not afraid to say that you all have a gift. You have a story that I wish I could tell, but no one tells your story better than you, Kendra. No one will tell your story better than you, Laverne. Derek, no one will tell your story better than you. What did you go through? What did you suffer through? What are you fighting through right now? Because I guarantee you, whatever you're going through right now, someone else is in the wind and they're waiting to hear your victory story. I guarantee you that when you come out, you'll look back and go, if I hadn't gone through that story, I wouldn't be in the storm and I wouldn't be where I am right now. You have a story to tell. And I like to say it's a crime for you to keep that inside and not tell the world what you've been through and how you got through it. Because someone out there you're being inspired by someone else's story. You're being inspired by Steve Jobs' story. And guess what? He's not around to tell his story anymore. You're being inspired by Harriet Tubman. She's not around. Why are we looking at other people and history stories when guess what, Yukta? You're alive and well. You have a story. Why are people hearing about you? Why are people celebrating what you've gone through? Tell your story, and I guarantee you, not will it would change your life, but it would change other people's lives as well. And with that, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming out. And if there's any questions or comments, this is a perfect time for you to open it up. And I thank you for your time. It means a lot to me that you would spend it with me. So thank you. Yes, Carl, I see your hand up. Go for it, girl. What's your question?
Awesome. Yeah, great presentation. Amazing. So glad I was able to join. Um, my question is, there was a slide and I missed it. It was 4 points.
Okay.
And I think the last one was about passion. You were talking about a friend, and she said when you talk, you have passion in your eyes. If you could just please reiterate those four steps, please,
Okay.
I would appreciate
Yeah.
that.
So I talk about speak about what you know.
Okay.
So whatever your subject is, speak about what you know. If you don't know anything about, if you are into health and wellness or insurance, for instance, talk about it.
Yes.
Don't talk about
Okay.
sports. Don't talk about it. You don't know anything about sports. Talk about what you know. The second thing, talk about what inspires you. What are you passionate about? Okay? Because when you talk about what you are passionate about, you can talk about it for days and people will feed off of that energy. But if I talk about the
Mm-hmm.
economical state of Canada, I'm just gonna pass out trying to tell the story myself. So, and if I don't have energy, you're not gonna have the energy, and it's a wrap. We're both just gonna
Right.
pass out. So talk about what you know. It'll inspire you. It'll inspire other people as well. So what is it that you do, by the way?
So I am a financial services broker.
See,
Uh,
perfect.
yes.
And that's what you want to talk about. Financial insurance broker. That's your niche. That's what you're passionate about. Tell stories around there. Okay?
Okay. Awesome. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. Yes, Laverne, I see your hand.
Thanks, Clem. I don't have a
Yeah.
question. I just want to say how amazing this workshop was. I feel like I
Appreciate
want to go write 20 speeches right now
it.
and present them somewhere. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you coming out. Yes, yes. Anybody else? Question, comments?
I just want to
Oh,
say I agree
yes.
with that last comment. Bravo, Clem. You get better every time I see you up on stage. Awesome, man. Thank you for this tonight.
Appreciate it, Bruce. Appreciate it. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Anything they want me to review, go over, insight?
I just wanted to say this was an
Yeah.
awesome session. It was simple. It was inspiring. I feel a little bit like Laverne I'm actually thinking, okay, when can I start using some of the things? When's my next meeting with the committee? When's that's literally what I'm thinking right now. When can I start? Because there's certain things in there that I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And I think like when can I use them next? So in short, it was awesome. Thank you so much.
Good, good. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Laverne. I see a question says the visual aid being your main attraction. I was in a work meeting today and the PowerPoint was so busy I didn't know what to focus on. 100%. Like you've nailed it on the head. When you're too busy, guess what? You are no longer focused on the meeting. And as a presenter, the worst possible thing to do is to spend time putting together a workshop, a presentation, and the entire group is like this. Drool coming down the side of the lip. They're falling asleep because they're just like, well, I'm just, I just gotta go. Like the best presentation are the ones that you sit there and you're like, wait, you're done? I thought there was That's what you want. Keep it simple. Keep it simple is the best way to do it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Anybody
say
else?
this, Clem. Wait, you're done?
Yukta doesn't give me a lot of time. She got me like 9 minutes. I gotta stay true, or she will give me no more workshops. Yeah. And anybody else? Comments, queries, questions?
Yeah, Clem,
Yes.
it
Yeah,
was
John.
John here. Yes, you demonstrated in such a magical way the transition from being an educator and telling us about what we should do and telling that story. That's 60 seconds you spent, or 2 minutes telling the Redmond story, is what we're all going to walk away with. We're going to forget a lot of the other stuff. Thanks for delivering it. I've taken notes too. Let's put it this way. I've had to take notes to remind myself of what you said, but I don't have to take notes to remind me of the Redmond story. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that was you just hit it. That was really a
Awesome.
fabulous demonstration that the teacher is teaching us something he really knows.
There you go.
Anyway, thank you.
As they say, I had to prove my point. So if I did the story, you remember it, memorable, then everything you said is, hey, I believe everything Clem says. But if everybody walked away going, I don't talk about, then I would have failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it.
And anybody else? Well, I've got 8 minutes of the time. And yes, Kendra.
Clem, I'm just going to mention something, and this is probably my fault and not. It was a great presentation, by the way, and I've taken lots and lots of notes here. But I'm not passionate about anything. I can't get excited. When people say follow your passions, it's like I don't really have any. I'm mildly interested in everything, but not really passionate about anything. What would you suggest?
Well, that's a great question. Don't get hung up on the passion. The passion means what's going to want you to stay up night after night researching it. Okay. So you tell me right off the bat, what is it that you're interested in? What is it that you like?
Well, it's funny when, in the old Toastmaster program, we had the research your topic thing.
Yeah.
I did mine on chocolate.
There you go.
I remember that.
There's nothing wrong with chocolate.
Because I thought, what is an everyday thing that I want to know more about? And for me,
that's
chocolate.
It. Wait,
chocolate.
back up. You just answered your own question. What is it that you said? You did topic on what?
Chocolate.
And what was the reason why?
Because I wanted to learn more about something I used every day. And chocolate is an everyday part of my life.
But you said you're mildly interested. That's all you need to do. You just need to be interested in something.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't have researched chocolate. If it didn't interest you, you wouldn't have researched it and you wouldn't have presented it.
That's true, but I can't really sort of do an inspirational speech on chocolate.
Well, you have to disagree. She's like, no, you can. So I think you better speak to her afterwards, and we'll see if you can go to chocolatiers. Is that a thing? And you can sample chocolate.
Yes.
There you go. That's a good passion. Yeah, passion have to be off the hook. Just has to mean, what am I interested in? What am I willing to research for the next 2-3 weeks to present? Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? Question, comment, suggestion? Yes, Jackie, I see your hand waving.
Yes. Clem, I just want to say one thing to you.
Yes.
I have the topic for your next workshop. Well, power your way with your belief. Because your last 2 minutes, look at the recording. Your last 2 minutes was really marvelous. Your conviction was contagious.
Yeah, I have to be careful.
Yeah. Actually, it could very well be your speech title. Your conviction is contagious, something like that.
Awesome.
I just hear about that. And also, second comment is, I think you should consider going professional.
Well, thank you so much. I have considered it.
Okay. See my email tomorrow. I have something for you.
Oh, perfect. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Comments, query? I've got you with 5 minutes. if there isn't anything else, I want to give everybody opportunity if you got a question, anything that, and I said, if I don't have the answers, I'll lie about it. But if you got something, we'll make it happen. Going once, going twice. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your input. It means a world to me that you would spend your hour with me, allow me to invade your house. And I do hope that I added value to your life. And I'd like to say, be a help, not a hindrance, be a blessing and a burden to those who are around you. Peace, and off to you, Yukta. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Clem. Everybody loved this session, and that is exactly what we want through these workshops. Please check out the newsletter. I know we have the PRM here. So she's announced a special incentive for people who are reading the newsletter, which is a lot of love and blessings. So please wait for the newsletter coming out on 2nd of February. And it has a list of all the upcoming workshops. And we have wonderful speakers who are here to teach us so many things through Toastmasters. We had Clem today. Clem, are you open to doing workshops at clubs?
Yeah, 100%.
If
In person,
anyone's
online.
interested, please reach out to my workshops chair, Ezra Liu, and she will help you connect with Clem so he can come to your club and deliver this session. International Speech Contest is coming up, so it's a great time to have speakers come to your clubs and teach something so that your club members can compete and win. And District 60 could have a world champion of public speaking again.
Definitely.
With that, I close today's session. Thank you again, Clem. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Looking forward to seeing all of you in the next session in February. Have a great night.
By the way, are we going to get the recording link? It was actually, I really like to revisit Clem's last 2 minutes.
Between Clem and I, we'll discuss this. And
Yeah.
if it is available, then it will be published on our YouTube page. And the link will be published on all social media channels so that you know that it's there on YouTube.
That's great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Everybody have a great night.